Welcome to Soul Food with Helen. It's been long. I had taken a very long leave, and I'm so glad that I'm back now in February with my lovely guest, Simon. Today is a very special episode as we are delving deep into one of the most sensitive issue that is usually ignored and not paid attention by a lot of people in terms of mental health awareness. So my guest today is Simon Marot Touloung. I hope I pronounced well. Simon was born in Mayom Country, Wangghea, Mayom Country, South Sudan. He is a co-founder of Team Lead at African Youth Action Network. AYAN is a social enterprise championing education, peace building, and economic empowerment of refugee youth. About 320 youths have so far benefited in peace building training and entrepreneurship skilling at AYAN. As a refugee, Marot is committed to working for a world free of violence and conflict. He is the Networking and Advocacy Coordinator at the Global Youth Network, an independent refugee youth-led organization that empowers and supports refugee youth to respond to challenges in their communities. He was also nominated among the 100 most influential young Africans in leadership and civil society by Africa Youth Awards 2019. He recently received a distinguished award for service to refugees and IDPs at the Uganda Muslim Youth Development Forum inaugural Peace Gala 2021. What a profound bio that we have here, Simon. I am so I'm in awe with your bio, and I'm so excited about this conversation. You can put back your camera, Simon, and unmute yourself.
Thank you so much, Helen.
Welcome, Simon. I'm so excited and honored to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm also honored and privileged to actually be in this space. Uh, I think I will be having a cup of the soul food today. That will also be taking back home.
Yeah, I'm sure Soul Food family is going to benefit so much from your wisdom and insights. So tell me, Simon, when you became a refugee, you moved from Sudan and you were 8 years old. What happened prior to you relocating? Right now, you are in Uganda or you are in Sudan?
I'm in Uganda right now. I'm joining from Uganda.
Oh, okay. So tell me prior, like what happened that led you to moving from Sudan to Uganda? Tell me how life was like prior to you relocating.
Well, I may not explain all of the things that really happened back home in South Sudan. You know, by then it was still called Sudan. We became South Sudan in 2011 after we succeeded from Sudan, the northern side, which has now remained as Sudan. So by then it was the southern part of the country, which is Sudan.
About 320
Uh, so in the year 2000, that's when I would say actually my village became like a war zone. But the war in South Sudan started long before actually our independence as Sudan as a country. That was in 1956. Just a month, like few months before our independence from the British and the Arab domination, we actually started fighting in the south. There was already a war in the south. People were saying there's already imbalance, there's already mistreatment. So people started fighting. Then there were a series of peace agreements. And then in 1983, there was still another blown out war. Another faction from the Sudan army in the south, who became the Sudan People Liberation Army, broke out and actually started fighting again. And this time they were determined. They said, we want to have an independent nation, a country that is going to be where people are going to be respected, where people are going to be valued, regardless of the race, regardless of your color, regardless of your economic or like political background, all these things. So those are the things that that's when actually the war started. Now people started fighting, and the southern part became just a battleground. Those who were in the south were either humanitarians or people who are in military uniform, like people who were like soldiers. So that war continued. There was series of actual mediation. People were like, okay, let's do this, let's do that. And in 1997, I think they wanted like oil in our state. Where I come from, there is actually a lot of oil, and up to now, people are still extracting that oil. So the government wanted to actually have the oil extracted. So what they did was to forcibly take the population out. They pushed them out of areas that actually they discovered oils, like where there was a lot of oil in it. So they push people out by force. And like for us, we're like cattle keepers, we're pastoralists. So we move along with our cattle, we look for highlands. So oil is where it's like mostly like in the swamp region of Upper Nile. Now, so many people disagreed. So the rebel forces from our end used that area as a battleground. And then the Sudanese government also constantly reinforced like the area with more soldiers from the north. So the South Sudanese who were studying in the north were actually brought back as soldiers, because there is a policy in our country, like in Sudan by then, that if you have completed maybe high school, so before you go to university, you are deployed in a military zone. You first go and fight in a war before going maybe to a university or a college. So you are not admitted if you do not serve in the army. So now they brought the South Sudanese who are from the south to come and fight their own South Sudanese in the area. So in 97, 98, 99, it was really like a tough time for most of us
And you had no
in unity.
option.
We had no option. So because at that time now, there were like very few soldiers. So the rebels from the south will come to the villages because they didn't have food supply. No one actually provided for them food. So they will come and get food from the villages. So every family, when you're cooking, like you give one plate of food, you put it aside for the soldiers. So when they come, if they don't have like forces that will actually enough force to actually take the food to the military zone, or maybe where they actually their barracks, they take the young children, like those who are below 10, 8, 7. The boys sometimes, like if you can actually manage to even carry soldier like these ammunition, they will forcefully take you into their group, and you carry for them ammunition, because maybe maybe a helicopter maybe shifted the military ammunition to your village. So the village people there will be the one now taking the ammunition to where the barracks are. They also the children are the one taking the food where the soldiers are actually stationed. Women, girls, the same thing like that. So it was a kind of like contribution from our villages, but it was having a lot of much impact on the children and the youth that were being taken, because you are exposed to all this harsh treatment, like how the army people actually behave, how they actually treat each other. These are the things that young people actually exposed to. And then there was constant fight. Actually, we were in a place called Pibor. Pibor is very close to Mayom. Mayom is a small town. In our village, it's a very small town. So the army was in Mayom town. So they kept fighting. Pibor was like this. If you are in Mayom, you can be like I would say 30 minutes, or like a 15 minutes drive. If the road is actually very good, it can be like a 15 minutes drive from the town center. So now people were fighting there. Rebels were fighting like at the government in Pibor, where we were actually staying. I was staying with my mother. I had my 21 dogs. So we had nothing to do. We moved out of that place to a place called Low. And then my elder brother said, you know what? These people now, because of there was a guy who actually who joined the government from our side, from our county. So when he joined the government now, all the people who were related to him or were close to him, whether he married from them, they became a target. They were looking for them. His cattle, like where he kept his cattle, they will come and take all the cattle so that they can go and kill, and then the soldiers were feeding on them. So they will come and beat. They actually went and actually surrounded all the cattlemen from our camp. My nephews were really beaten until like someone would be bleeding from the like he would be bleeding from every part, like from the ears, the nose, like from like even the penis, you will be bleeding there. So my elder brother was like, no, we can't be staying here. Let's go. So we walked. He just told me, you know what, we're going to marry, because he married from a nearby tribe, which is called the
So you
Dinka.
were so you were with your brother and your mother when you moved.
Yes. So we left my mother there because she was like, no, I cannot move. I cannot leave this place. So I moved with my brother, my four nephews, and I think we were two brothers. I had my two brothers. I'm the last born from my mother. So I being the last born, my elder brother lied to my mother and said, you know what, we're just going to my in-laws who will be coming back with him. So he will be coming back after some few days, because my mother was not going to allow him to actually go with me. So we went. After paying the dowry from his in-law, he's like, you know what, we are not going back to that war zone. I'll take you guys to Uganda and you will be staying there. I don't care whether you die there. I don't care what happens that side. But at least you will not go into the army. So we started walking. We just started walking from, that was like 2000, around June, July there. Started walking like I was the youngest guy. I could not even carry anything. I only had one shirt and a very small shot. I think sometimes I just look at it, I just laugh alone. I'm like, okay. So we could move every day, like for 21 days, we're just moving without even knowing where we're headed. It was only my brother saying, you know what, let's just go. Let's continue going, because where we are from, it is even too much. So it is
Yes.
the war, it is the conflict, and it is the forceful recruitment, the torture, and everything that was happening back home that led me to actually leave my country, South Sudan.
Shame. Ish. It's one of the heavy stories. It's like you are narrating a book or something that happened, in a lifetime that is not this one. I cannot believe we are living in the age where young children are exposed to conflicts and instability, in such which has got such a devastating effect on the young people. So tell me, when you got to Uganda, how did it feel like for you to adapt to a new place? People were dying in your village. You moved to a new place. You left your mother there. How was it like? What was happening in your 8-year-old mind, if you can remember?
I think I will say I was just confused. I actually didn't know what was happening. Uh, One of the person that was actually so much stressed was my elder brother, because we constantly received news of what was actually happening back home. We had a small radio station. Like every evening around 7 p.m., we'll be sitting around the radio station and it would be like hearing like goats, the cattle, the people, everything just crossing. Like when people are like crossing the rivers, because now the whole village, people were all displaced from the county now into the neighboring state. Like they had to cross rivers, they had to cross the boundaries, the county boundaries, because everything now became a battle like a battlefield for the soldiers, and the war actually intensified in 2000. That was 2001. Now when we were in the camp, so every evening, you know that okay, 7 p.m. BBC, there is going to be news about my county. So you all come down and then sit down there and just see what is happening. So like the people became so stressed in the camp, we even didn't know what was happening. And then like even in the camp even had its own problems compared to like the problem that we actually got back home that side. So instead of worrying about oh, my mother is back home, or my mother is left that side, or the relative that were there dying, because when we reached there, my brother's wife gave birth in the forest. We even didn't know where she was. So she spent 7 days without a helper in the bushes there with the kid. And then were like, okay, now how do we even press? How do we get her? It was not like it was like a tug of war. You even don't know whether she's running or she's doing what or she's even killed. So for like a month or a few months, you don't even know what is happening to your loved one or your relative. So you're all like stressed. You're like, okay, let's leave everything to God. Maybe she's going to be alive. She might be coming back, or she might. So that's what people actually do. And then in the camp, you don't have food to eat. That's the one thing. So they give you the UN actually distribute food, and then it's supposed to be. It was like it used to be 36 kilogram of maize. Like they give us cereals, and then they give you like around 6 cups of beans, and then a very small cooking oil, which is supposed to last for like 30 days. So in our family, we will find maybe we have 1 sack of what of maize flour that we can actually consume for 30 days. So these things take like 15 days or like 20 days at most. If it has lasted for long, maybe it get done. Now, like the remaining 15 days, where do we go and get food from? It's a new
So
area. It's a different food stuff for us. We're not used to this kind of food before because for us we're like kettle keep a wall take milk, and then now you're telling us to actually be taking beans. Why? What is this beans all about? So as a kid, you cannot answer all these questions.
so like you are saying at the camp you were supposed to cook on your own as a family, and how many
Yes,
were you?
we were 6 in our family, all men
Oh.
who have never been cooked before. So we started learning how to cook.
I'm laughing, but it's not funny. This is real life. So when did you start going to school after that episode of relocation, getting used to the camp life and the refugee life?
I started schooling in 2001. That's when I joined school.
Okay,
In the camp.
all
In the camp.
right.
Actually, I joined school in the camp. But along the way, my nephew used to actually teach me because he was in primary three when we left the village. He used to go to school, and then for me, I used to just keep a lot of goats. I like keeping goats. So my elder brother will come and take me to school, like in a small town called Mankin, but I will just go back. Like after a few days, I get my goats, I go back to the village. I didn't like school before, but now when I was in the camp, I had nothing else to do. So that's when I joined school.
Oh, okay. So how was the life of being a refugee as you related with other young people? Were there no incidences of post-traumatic disorder? How did you have access to any psychological, emotional support in any way?
Well, I didn't have. I would say it was not there, and people did not focus on it because it was an emergency. They call it emergency situation in the refugee camps or in the refugee settlements where we're living. So people are focusing on the food and shelter. Do you have a place
Yes,
to sleep?
survival.
Do you have food? Do you have food to eat? So they don't care whether mentally you are upright or you're not upright. That's that's what I would say. So I will
Yes.
give you like a small story. Like in the village, like in Manken, just before after we left Law, before actually we walked to Uganda. Before leaving, I was in the taking care of some few cattle, like around 3 cattle with my brother Matut, who was also with me in the journey, who also came to me in the refugee camp. So as we were taking care of the cattle, there was an attack like 3 days before then in Mankin town. There was an attack, and people were killed. Some people were buried. Those who actually had their relatives who could actually get them were buried. And then me, as we were walking, 3 days after the attack, I was walking like near the airstrip, Mannequin airstrip. We found a soldier that was actually killed, and then the body were feasting on him. My brother Matut got him, saw him first, and then he just moved because he was still following me. I was collecting wild fruits. I was collecting wild fruits, and then I just came and found this thing down, like birds jumping from a human body, like you only see bones. That stuck in my brain for like it was like one of the terrifying pictures or images or like scenes that I've been to as a young boy who has never seen some of these things. because in our culture, you don't even if someone is dead, we the kids who are below, someone who is actually below 20 years, you cannot go to for the burial, or you even don't know whether they are buried or how they are buried. You don't even know. But here, as a kid of 8 years old, coming face to face with a dead person. So I didn't know how to handle that. I ran home crying. My sister-in-law, the wife to my brother, was like, "What's happening? What is happening?" Even my brother was not even able to explain because I was just like shivering, panicking, and everything, like sweating. The whole night I did not sleep. So that image stuck in my brain. Even on the way as we were coming, because we walked up to a place called Chuaibet. That is if you look at the map of South Sudan, there's a place called Lake State. So Chuaibet is in Lake State. So from Lake State, there was a UN convoy, a UNHCR car that we got from there. This one they use for carrying food. So you just enter there. It's not like a bus or like some of these nice cars for movement. It's just this one where they load goods. So we only enter there like goods. People are just carrying like goods there. So we entered the car and then up to Rumbek Center. So from Rumbek Center, we got good some of these vehicles that were actually carrying goods for people from Uganda and the other part of East Africa. So along the way, some nights you will find like the image still coming as if like is chasing me. Someone I will have this horror, like these dreams, these scary dreams. I don't know whether you can hear me.
Yes, I can now hear you. It was sticking.
Okay, sorry. So sometimes I will even feel like jumping out from the car. So when my nephew saw that, they will make sure that when I'm sleeping, like I sleep in the middle. Because at around midnight, I can just jump and be like, someone is killing me. Like someone is like someone. It's like someone is killing me. So they will then hold me and say, Simon, what's wrong? What's wrong, man? What is wrong? If someone touched me like around 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. there, I will still go back to sleep as if there's nothing happened actually.
It's post-traumatic.
So that image, that disorder was still with me until I reached the camp. In the camp, no one was focusing on me. So it's just like a normal kind of life. People were just struggling on their own, doing their own stuff. But it is the young people that actually I played with, the kids that I played football with, that I go and actually interact with in school. Those are the things that actually maybe helped me so much recover from the stress and the traumatic disorder.
So the picture in the episode of the trauma didn't continue to bother you as you were growing up.
Yes, it bothered me up to I think secondary one, senior one, up to senior two. It was still bothering me, but now, like in the camp, the kids playing with me, their images were now the one replacing the image of the dead man or the dead soldier. So with the time, like the thing continued, and then it faced up. Now, like the images of the kids I play with during the day, I will be the one replaying them. Like I will be replaying them at night. So instead of me seeing the dead man, I see like these young people. So you'll find me sometimes I'll just be laughing or even kicking the ball at the night, even when I'm sleeping around 2 a.m. So that is how the whole recovery journey actually started. And I'm so grateful to a company called Right to Play, because they used to bring for us soccer balls every 30 days. Like they would bring for us 30 balls for playing. Like so, you didn't have time to think about all the bad things that were back home that side. You're only thinking of, okay, when is the next game? Who are we playing with? Which village are we playing with? Like that.
You know, as you are narrating your story, Simon, it's really humbling to think of a little boy who walked in the jungle, running away from war, being displaced from their mom, and relocating to another country, and all those traumatic scenes and episodes that you saw and experienced. To think how you managed to navigate through that darkness to the man that you are today. This is a miracle. I mean, how and I Your story is really inspiring. So tell me what kept you going, and being a, because when I look at you, I see an ambitious um man who's got a great vision and passion to make a difference in the world. What keeps you going, or what kept you going to get to where you are?
I think what kept me going, or the thing that gave me a lot of energy, I would say are the people. Why do I say the people? Because like people did not see me like a different person. They looked at me as a kid. They look at me as their kid. Women in the refugee camps, women along the way will even stop my brother and say, you know what, why are you letting this boy suffer like this? Can you please let him stay with us? Let him stay with us, and then when you guys come back, you can actually come and find him. He's suffering. So they will even stop us and say, you know what, you guys are not moving to any village until you guys have lunch in this house, or we're going to have to prepare for you guys something to eat on the way because this boy is suffering. So they will look at me and then stop. They will cook for us, prepare for us lunch, bring for us water. People will open up and communicate to us. So women were led, like most people who actually were very compassionate, were like loving, and were looking at me like their own child. So when I was in the refugee camp, while studying, I was doing very well in class. I was performing very well, and everyone in the camp actually loved me. I was actually in a call I think it was last week with my friend. So he was telling me, you know, like everywhere you go, even you only hear just good stories about you. People just like talking about you, and they really love you. So for you, are just like this small kid who is loved by everyone. Like no one talks
Mm.
about, no one talks about. So I was just, but maybe it's what I was doing in the camp. So in the camp, I did not fight, engage in fighting and all doing other stuff I think there was only one boy I fought in the whole settlement for like 6 or 7 years there. And then women in the camp, even if they find me playing football, they will stop and say, "We wish this boy could actually continue schooling. We don't even actually we pray that God does not even stop him from does not even stop his school fees from flowing." So like when I go to a borehole with like small little jerrycan, a 5 liter jerrycan like this, the people I find in the borehole will even if the line is too much, they will say, "Ah, no, Simon has come, give him water." They will go and like, they will put my jerrycan there. They will even like fill it. After filling it, they give it back to me and say, "You know what? Go and study. You're a good boy. You're the future of this country, South Sudan." So these
Wow.
are like strangers. These are people who are not even my tribe. They are not my what. We're
Mm.
all like South Sudanese, like staying together.
Mm.
So that that kind of foundation, that love
Yes.
that people show towards me, really kept me moving. Because
Mm.
whatever I do, I always say I have to do it for my people. I'm doing it for my people because I became like the son or the child of the community, not my mother's, not my father. That's why some like few days ago I was talking to my mom. I told her, she was like, "For you, it's like you've got a new mother there. You don't even want to think about coming back home." I told her, "No, it's not that I got a new mother here, but every woman now on this planet Earth is my mother. Because when you were not around, when we were in South Sudan, when I was in the camp, they took care of me." So I
Mm.
have three friends, like childhood friends. The first one is called Abayamos. The second one is Onyango Justin, and then Arike Samuel. These were my classmates from primary two. Because I started like classes in primary two, not primary one, because I was like an only guy now, just went direct to primary two. So from primary
Okay.
two out to the end of primary seven, like we were studying together. These kids, like their mothers, even if I go to their house and I don't find them at home, if I find their mother, they'll be like, "Oh, Simon," they call me and say, "You know what? Come sit down." So we'll talk. They will say, "No, your brother is coming now." They will say, "Your brother is coming, not your friend." They say your
Mm.
brother is coming.
Mm.
You see that? So that kind of acceptance from the community actually even
Mm.
participated so much in the healing process because everywhere I
Mm.
was I was like a child. I was like
You are
even in my
loved.
own family, like the nephews and my brother, the one I was staying with, because our elder brother went back home. My nephews, they still treated me like a child. They never gave me a lot of responsibilities in the camp because
Mm.
in the camp there were also a lot of things that actually lead to a lot of trauma and a lot of psychosocial
Mm.
problems for the children. You'll find that someone is forced to go and fetch water. a 20-liter jerrycan. Someone who is just 15 or 12-year-old, you're carrying that jerrycan on your head or using your hands. It's really tough. But my nephew made sure that I was free to do whatever I want to do. They gave me a lot of time to play. So until when I reached 16, that's when they started saying, you know what? Okay, Simon, go and fetch firewood. Go and do this. Go and do that. So that kind of love from the family and from the community around really made me strong and made me continue to actually strive for in whatever I do. I do it because I know there are people watching me. I do it because I know there are people who are actually believing in me. So I would say it's the people that give me the energy. And I always like strive like and struggle and say, you know what? That's why in my dream is to see an Africa where there is no war and there is no conflict, where everyone has got the food to eat, and somewhere where you can call home. It must not be like where you were born or where your ancestors are from. It can be Uganda, it can be in Kenya, it can be Zimbabwe, it can be Zambia, it can be South Africa. But as long as I call it home, that's what I was striving for. And it's because of the love of the family, of the people that actually along the way supported me. That's why I want to give my all to make sure that these people smile other than crying, other than looking for a way about of their children, or maybe being separated for like 20 or 30 years away from their children. That's what I was striving for.
Wow, beautiful. I love one thing about your story. You didn't allow it to define you. Instead, you managed to look at the positive, which is the love that you were receiving, and not the conflict, the war, the displacement, the hunger, the starvation, and all the struggles that you endured. You managed to look at the light. It's like you kept holding onto the light, onto your little light, even as you were going and navigating through the darkness, which is something that I feel should be embedded in us as young people as we go through life. Because I wouldn't know about the experiences of other children that you went into the refugee with. How was the situation like for them? What did you observe? Like now that you can look at yourself and say this should be done to the young people who went through what I went through.
Sorry, I'm sorry, I did not get that well.
Okay, I'm saying what struggles did the young people did you observe, like young people going through, that you would say I would want or I would wish we can make a difference in this way for the young people who are refugees in terms of mental health? Like, what did you observe from your colleagues, your friends? Because I don't think everyone has got the same outcome as you. Maybe some gave
Sure.
up.
A lot gave up. Actually, my old nephew, I told you we're a family of six. My nephew right now, his mind is not very well. He actually almost ran mad in 2015
Oh,
because of this mental health issue. Because in the family, they will say, no, it's just like it is like, culturally, they'll say, no, this is just maybe someone has witch him, or it's like witchcraft, or something like that.
mm, mm,
So, but for me, I looked at him because I feel like there is something that was not connecting. So I ran around, went to the health centers around Kampala. I said, you know what, my nephew is behaving like this. When he's watching television, he puts off the volume, and then he just watch pictures like this. Why is that? How is that actually possible?
mm.
So then the doctors advised me and said, no, this guy is mentally not healthy. He's sick. You need to bring him
But he
and
was
actually.
born okay. He was born
He was
okay.
born okay. I was his classmate. We were in the same class. We were studying
Oh,
in the same class after secondary. So that's why even it
mm,
pains me more, because I know this is
mm,
like this is someone I run to when I maybe face a difficulty in mathematic problems or a science question. I
mm.
go to him to consult. But now you cannot consult him because he's mental and not, he's sick. So that is like just an example of a million of other examples that are outside there that people even don't want to talk about, or stories that people even don't hear about, or they just read them in the papers or in books. refugee children go through a lot because first of all, the elders are actually focusing on okay, how we really going back. How is the situation back home there? So here you are neglected. No one thinks of
Yes.
your needs. Psychologically, you are not prepared. Mind, if it was not because of the ball or playing with other kids or the acceptance from the community and the family where I was actually accepted very well and taken very good care of, I will not even turn out like this. I will be a different person right now because
Mm-mm.
those post-traumatic stress disorders were too much.
It's
They were
real.
like almost acute for me. Like, but now because of the acceptance, that's why I turned out like this. But how many of the
Mm,
young people outside there are not accepted? How many of them there are not actually performing well in school that did not even get the treatment I actually got?
mm,
Because like even right now they call many South, they will say South Sudanese are always hard to handle. They are rude people. But it's like it's in the mind.
it's in
How
the
can you say
mind.
someone who has been like spending most of his time running, surviving,
Mm, the
looking for where to actually
trauma.
survive, running,
Mm,
like the trauma is there in the mind, but you're telling them to
mm,
actually behave normal, like other normal people.
mm.
It is not right. Just the
You
other
know,
week I was actually,
Simon,
yeah,
yeah, what you're saying is very true. Like before we judge the behavior of someone, we need to look at the root, not just the symptom. Their behavior or whatever they are doing is they are showing up is just a symptom of an underlying cause. As you are saying, it's like I also heard a lot about Sudanese. I don't know, is it South Sudan?
yeah,
Um
South Sudan.
like how tough they are and how
Uh-huh.
difficult they are. And can you imagine the imprint that is being passed from one generation to another of whatever struggles that the elders, the parents went through? It's really sad. So I believe, like what you are saying, that love healed you, that community, that sense of community, of oneness healed you. And I think this is the time as humanity we should move from the me, mine to we, us, oneness, unity, collaboration, that will heal us. That will not only heal us on a community level, but on a national level and on a world level. Because honestly, our children, at the end of the day, our children will suffer. Kids
Yeah,
will suffer, like what you are saying, your brother. Someone who was born fine, healthy, normal, just because of that experience. It's really sad. It's really a sad situation. So, with your work that you are doing now, in support of refugees, are there any measures that are taken, maybe to support like refugees, former refugees, with mental wellness, emotional wellness support?
well, a lot of things have actually changed, and I'm really loving it right now. I think it's partly because of the advocacy people have been doing long before the COVID-19. But after the COVID-19, people came to realize that actually all of us are like prisoners in this world. That refugees were actually living in a life which was very difficult that people were not actually paying attention to. So it was last year that I think the UN and the agencies in the settlement that I'm staying in Uganda, they now are revising and they are putting mental health and psychosocial support as one of the core emergency, I will say emergency intervention in the refugee management here, which is a very good trend or like a good direction to actually move to looking at the human being, not just treating them as projects, not treating them like, okay, these are refugees, it's a situation, it's a protracted war. You just look at them as statistic. Okay, we have like maybe a
Mm,
million refugees here. But within among those million refugees, how are they all very well? Are they mentally upright? Are
mhm,
they all okay? Can they all reason very well? How are they joining schools? Because someone is like,
mm,
I remember in my primary, we were studying with our parents. Someone who is like 30 or 35 or 40 years old, he's in primary 3 with you, sitting in the same class because he had no opportunity to study back home. First of all, that person is mentally disturbed because he's joining classes with with kids that are his kids or his brother's kids, but they are staying there studying with them. My brother was in primary. My elder brother was in primary 4 when I was in primary 2. So he had to change his. Can you hear me?
It was breaking, but now, yeah, you are big.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So
can
he
hear
had to
you.
change my elder brother changed his school because he didn't want to study with small like children like me. So he changed his school to a very far school where like he had a teacher, a single teacher who was coaching him outside classes. But he was in primary 4 at his mid 30s.
Mm,
So these are all issues that are actually so much affecting so many refugee children, people who are displaced. But right
mm,
now we have like alternative to this normal learning, where there is accelerated learning programs in the refugee camps coming in for people who have actually maybe dropped out or who did not have an opportunity to study in the war zone. That is very good. Now we have intervention. We have funding that is now coming towards mental health, just targeting the mental health of refugees, which is really very good because such things
that's
never had
amazing.
actually existed before. So I will say there is a lot of change right now, and I'm very happy that even refugees themselves are taking up the spaces. They are saying, you know what, mental health is something that is very vital. It is like the food you eat. If you guys cannot provide the support, even it's just like even not giving us food. So give us, because when someone is mentally upright, that's when they can make right decisions. That's
Mm,
when they can even seek for employment. That's when they can even like enjoy life and feel like there is that sense of liveness in themselves.
mm,
But when you're just giving food to someone who is mentally dead, you're wasting time
mm.
and you're wasting the
Very
resources.
true. Yeah,
Yeah,
very
but
true.
right now I will say things have changed, and the intervention actually going towards improving the like the whole bodies of human being, like the whole refugee body, like not just looking at the food or the needs, physical needs like food and shelter, but also like the
Mm.
mental and then the psychosocial needs, which is really very good. It's like a very
That's
good one. Come,
impressive.
I think it's impressive, and I think there will be a lot of change in a few years
Yes.
because of the direction people are taking right now.
Yes, I think there's a great need for that, considering what you just mentioned. So, what I now want to ask you is with regards to you now as a man, your experiences obviously shaped you in a certain way that redirected you in a career that you are so passionate about, and you love. Based on your experiences, you're now giving back to your community in a way. What I just want to know is, I know these experiences, they either harden you or they turn you into a better version, which I think for you it has worked out into the better version. But what I want to know is, growing up in that setup as a boy, were you allowed to express your emotions in the community that you were around? What was the kind of ideology that you were taught in that environment? Were you allowed to cry? Were you allowed to express your emotions, or you were suck it up, be strong? We are surviving, you know.
Well, I will say mine was, it's the normal one where they will say men don't cry. So whether you're going through the hardest or the most difficult situation, you're not supposed to cry. You're a man. Why will you cry? You don't cry. So I would say until 2016, 2017, yes, and then 20. I actually came and realized that I had this issue in 2017. So when I was narrating my story to a friend, he's also from Zimbabwe. He's a lawyer. He's called Sharon. So we went for Mandela Washington Fellowship in Arizona State University. So I was interacting. Then she looked at me and said, "What, Simon? Did you yourself go for like psychosocial support or maybe counseling? Did you go for counseling?" I said, "No, I did not go for counseling. I only went and played football." She looked at me. Now, like with the expression from her face, I saw like I think there is something that I really missed. So I went back to my room and I was like, okay. I started reflecting all the things, all the episodes, the different episodes that actually happened. What happened in the camp, how I was behaving in the camp, how I even used to behave like in schools. Because sometimes when I want to even cry, they will be like, "No, you're not supposed to cry. Why are you crying?" They will come and scold you. They will come and tell you, "I know this. You're not a boy. Why would you even cry? Why would a man cry?" So you just keep everything. You just keep it inside there. You keep it inside there until 2018. I went to actually give a speech, and then I was narrating some of my story. And then all of a sudden, people in the room were all silent. I didn't know how to handle that. Tears just started rolling in my like here. I just cried because everyone was silent. They were like tears were actually rolling in their eyes. Also, like I was like, why? Why will people cry? So I didn't know how to handle that. I cried in front of this part of the audience, and then they just came and said, "Okay, no, it's fine, it's okay, fine." Now I also found these people were supportive. They were like, "No, it's okay to actually express yourself. It's okay to cry." The next was in 2019. I was in an interview in a panel, and then one lady asked me, "Okay, I told them, you know what? I've been here for 21 years. I've not been staying with my mother for all these years." So one lady looked at me and said, "But Simon, how do you feel not being with your mother for like 21 years?" That also like it was like a fire in me. So all this strength that I've actually been battling, like I've been like bottling up everything, keeping everything with myself. That yeah, my man, I just started crying also in front of the panel. Like, it was very hard, very
Mm,
hard to actually stay for these
mm,
21 years without your mother. It is hard,
it's very hard.
and so the kind of society I grew up in is the kind of where you're supposed to show outside there that you are a man, you are a strong person. Why will you
Mm.
actually give up? Why will you actually show emotions? You don't actually show emotions. You don't even express the needs. You don't even talk about all these things
Except it's
in the
anger.
family. Yeah,
Except
it's
it's
hard.
anger, which is sick.
Exactly,
It's sickening.
exactly. And I think that's why even my nephew actually almost like went mad because people were not paying attention. I was telling them, you know what, this guy can be treated. We should take him to the hospital, look for money, and we take him to the hospital. They're like, "No, boy, you are still a child. You don't know what you're talking about. This guy is not sick. These are just like maybe because he has overstayed outside our country, you need to go back to the village and meet his people." The other
Yeah.
thing I always tell people, you know what? I think I need to go back. I need to go and talk to my grandparents. I need to go and talk to my grandmother, my grandfather. I actually need to hear and learn about my roots. They will tell you, are you still a kid? Someone who is now married, you have kids. You're still talking about going to your grandparents. That's how you
Mm,
guys behave. You
mm,
get that? But it's not about
mm.
you having kids. It's not about you getting married. It's about you connecting to your roots, knowing where you're coming from,
Yes.
because it will
Yes.
help you going forward. So
Mm,
this is like the kind of situation we're actually living. And many people back home in my country, they're on the streets right now. Yeah, because first of all, there is lack of facilities that actually take care of the mental health well-being of my people. And this is a
mm.
country that has been in war for over, I think, 60 or 70 years. People are on the streets, mental and not upright. They are not performing very well in their jobs. And then we keep blaming ourselves because
Mm.
who knows what is happening? No one knows what is happening. Everyone is just
Yes.
okay. Let's pay bills. As long as you're able to pay bill, as long as you're able to get employment, that's all. But are you
There's
helping?
more to life.
Yeah. And
So,
then the energy. You see the energy around. You'll find that if you are walking in South Sudan, you step on
yeah.
someone like this. You step on someone, it's like almost fighting. You will even end up fighting if you are not a good person. Here, in other countries, you can step on someone and you still go, "I'll say sorry, 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 no problem." You can continue. And even to hear the word sorry in my country, it's hard. Because you cannot blame these people. Who do you say sorry to when you are fighting an enemy? You don't say sorry to an enemy.
You don't. Ish. Hmm.
So
Yeah, it's really sad, Simon. It's real. Like it's like you are narrating a movie, and it's very touching. So, what would you wish a South Sudani boy or man would know that you now know in
I think
terms
I
of
will just
mental
say,
health related?
I will say, I think it is okay to be vulnerable, to accept your vulnerability, and say, you know what, I am weak, I am down, I am. To actually accept, to ask for support, I will say just let them ask for support. Because even me, I find it very difficult. Up to now, it's still very difficult for me. I can be here down, and then if I don't talk to my friend, or I don't ask for support from another person, because I'm like, it's like I'm burdening them. It's like a burden to them. I'm like, I'm just a burden to this person. Why should I even ask for support? I keep
Hold
quiet.
this, Simon. Hold. I read about this research. It was done in the UK. They said a man who's above 25 years cannot, the research that they did,
Mm.
most men who were 25 and above could not identify what they call a best friend. And it means when tragedy struck or challenges come, you lose your job, you divorce, you do what, they don't have anyone to share with. Hence, it justifies the increase in the suicide rates on the men's side. And they were saying worldwide, um, men are 4 times more likely to commit suicide than women.
Yeah.
So I can relate with what you're saying. You can continue.
Yeah, so it's very hard to ask for support. It's like you're putting a burden on someone. You're like, no, I'm supposed to provide this myself. Why do I need to ask him? Why do I need to bother her or him? You don't have to ask for support. So that is a big, big issue, which I think South Sudanese men. I'm not telling you guys that you guys will now be asking for support all the time, but at least when the need arise, ask for it and be
Mm,
able to. But you will be able to actually get the support that you need.
very true. And one thing that I notice is this issue is not an issue of maybe. Can you hear me, Simon? Are we still together? Hello. I think I lost Simon. But let me just continue. I think the issue with men finding difficult in expressing their emotions or their pain or their struggles is not their fault. It's more to do with the patriarchal model that expects men to be strong, men to be tough, men to be however way that men should be, that is superficial, and that narrative and those perceptions and ideologies are suffocating men and killing men. And I think maybe this is the time we need to create safe space for men to just heal, to process their emotions and be compassionate, because mental health issue has no regards to gender. So I think I have lost Simon, but I'm so grateful that we managed to wrap up all the issues that we wanted to discuss. And I hope you have benefited and gained so much insights from this conversation. And I just want to encourage each and every one of you who get to watch this video, take care of yourself, be gentle with yourself, love yourself, honor yourself, take care of your mental health. You are enough. You deserve to be here. You are worth as you are. Your worth does not come from anything outside you. You are perfect, whole, and complete as you are. You deserve to be here on earth. You are needed. Your skills are needed. Your light is needed. Just allow yourself to give yourself the opportunity to just be here. Please always honor your voice, always honor your truth, speak your truth, be authentic, and take care of yourself. You're already enough. I think I managed to get Simon back. Welcome. I thought I had
Thank you.
lost you for good.
Thank you.
So I was just wrapping up. So tell me the last words of wisdom that you'd want to share with men. I love talking in reference to men, especially about mental health. I think you have already observed because men are they've been kept in a box for a long time. They are not allowed. And I'm here to help raise the level of consciousness of boys and men and women as well. But I just want you to, in close reference to refugees, men as well, and even girls or women, the last words of wisdom that you'd want to share.
So I'll just say go outside there and be yourself, and always ask yourself like, what I'm doing right now. If it is done to me, if it is done to someone that is very close to me, if it is done to my child or my relative or my sibling, will I be happy about it, or I will need it to change? So because that will guide you in whatever action that you're going to be doing, in whatever things that you're going to be engaging yourself in. So you will actually do everything with an intention of loving and actually seeking or maybe trying to get that love back. So when we go outside there and love people because they are human beings, not because we want to use them because they are tools to be used, no, because they are human beings. That's the only way we can actually grow, and that's the only way we can actually change the way things are actually done. I think we are forgetting a lot of our roots. We need to revisit
Mm,
that uh, because in our, like, I think in the whole of African traditional society, it was not, I would say, people spend a lot of time with their children. They spend a lot of time with their kids, and that's how, like, people have been mentored. That's how their skills, like the craftsmanship, have been transferred from generation to generations. That actually got lost somewhere along the way, which we need to actually reestablish. So go
mm,
out there and love people, not because you want to use them, but because they are human beings, because they are your brothers, they are your sisters, uh, they are your comrades, they are your best friends.
yes.
Thank you.
I love that. I love saying this and I always say it. Love people. Why? Because we are all one. We are all connected. We are one consciousness because we are connected to the same source, which is God. And it's unfortunate that as humans we waste our time competing, outshining, proving, comparing ourselves, putting each other down, power, control, manipulation, greediness. But that's not who we are. I want to ask you this one last question. When was the last time that you didn't feel men enough?
The last time I did not feel a man enough, I think I
Yes.
don't even remember. I don't remember that
Okay.
because, like, I've had so many friends. They will tell me, "Why are you not doing this?" From childhood, I've been defiant to so many things. That's why I will actually say that even in primary school, I like trying things out, and I think it's because also of the stress and the disorders that in primary it was in primary and even in secondary school, like my teachers found it very hard to actually handle me. If I had a disagreement with the teacher, I'll say, okay, fine, I'm not attending your class, and I will not attend their class, but I will just come for the exam and be the best in that subject. So there was a time one lady was teaching us social studies, and then I had a disagreement with her because I used red pen. I was writing just with the red pen, and the red pen were only supposed to be for the teachers. I said, why is it for only the teachers? I should also have it myself. So I wrote the whole book, like 5 pages in red pen. She looked at it. When she was marking my book, she beat me badly. Like, I told her, okay, I'm not attending your classes again. I did not attend her classes. There was a lady also forced me, I think I'm in senior one, to about the history, like CRA, that I should memorize and then go read the Bible and then come and explain in class. I said, no, I don't need those things. She was very bitter, and then she chased me out of the class and said, you are making noise, you're making other people to actually not be attentive in class because you're not respecting my rules. I went out. So I was most time defiant, and what other men actually do, sometimes I don't do it. So I don't do most of this stuff. So when they say, you know what, why don't you have like 5 girlfriends? I say, for what? What is it for? No, you see, a man is supposed to have girlfriends everywhere, even if you're breaking their hearts, they are girls. Just be that
In
side.
order
You're
for
supposed to
you
have
to
like 10 girlfriends, just
in order for you
in
to
order for
prove
you to be a man.
yourself.
So some of these discussions are really outside I say they are outside my scope of life, I think, because I don't find comfort in those things. I don't find comfort in some of these things because the people who showed up when I was a kid, they were women. The people who were giving me water, who were fetching, making sure that my jerrycan of water is filled up, were women. So I don't want to use people. So like I don't really remember when I was not a man enough to do something, because for you to say you're a man enough, it's when you are arguing with someone says, you know what, you're not even a man to actually do this. You're not even a man. You're not doing this. You're not a man. If you're not doing this, if you're not wearing like this, you're not a man. If you're not in this cycle, you're not a man. If you're not drinking, you're not a man. If you're not smoking, you're not a man. If you're not, those are just peer pressures, like it is pressure of the group. People put you under unnecessary pressure, and then they will tell you if you don't do it, then it means you're not part of our generation. You're not part of our group. You're not part of
You
our
can't
cycle.
fit in.
Well, I'm very happy with that. I'm telling you, okay, I will just tell them, no, it's fine. I don't drink. I cannot drink with you guys. And it does not make me less of a man because I do not drink with you guys.
Yeah. It's one of the more huge struggles that men have. Like, what I believe is there is this concept called a man box. Men box is our perceptions or belief systems that govern how men should show up. Like what you are saying, a man, you're not man enough if you don't drink, you're not man enough if you don't, man enough. So you are supposed to fit in a certain box for you to prove yourself that you are man enough. And I feel like that kind of pattern is what is causing I don't know, ravage in terms of men's mental health. It's killing men
Yeah.
slowly. And I believe this is the time that, men should be given safe space to begin to unpack all those broken ideologies, belief systems, theories, that broken model that try to put pressure on men to prove themselves powerful, you're strong, you have men. And one thing that really hurts me is that it objectify women, like which is just an object. It doesn't give value to women. It undermines, denigrate, and belittle women. That's how we keep power as men. But I don't think that works well, because if you look at the high rate of sexual violence against women, of
Yeah.
all the gender violence, whatever struggles we are facing in the world, it's saddening, it's pathetic. And I think if we manage to deal with that root of casting off all those belief systems, and have people, more men, think the way you do, will manage to heal this patriarchal model. And I love your mindset. I love your heart. I love your spirit. Keep it up. Keep um radiating light and
Thank
love
you.
to the world. I loved your light. That's why I was attracted to you, and I managed to organize these conversations because I thought people from this page, everyone will benefit from your wisdom. So hopefully we'll have you again on this page. All
Thank you.
right.
I'll be very happy to be back home here. I'll be very happy to be back home here, I will say. And I wish everyone actually the very best outside there. Thank you so much for reaching out and for organizing, giving me this platform actually to say what is in my mind and what is actually happening to so many other young children who are displaced.
Mm,
Because as we speak right now, there is someone who is struggling in the Mediterranean Sea trying to cross to Europe. They're not sure
mm,
whether the boats that they are in is actually going to reach the islands outside or they are going to be drawn in the water. As we're moving right
mm,
now, there is someone who is being tortured in the Sahara Desert trying to leave Burkina Faso or Mali, crossing to
mm,
Libya or to Morocco. These are all issues that can actually be solved if we are all
mm.
human enough, if we all like shall say, you know what, it's not about collecting wealth. It's not
It's
about
not.
being the most powerful man or being the richest man in town. No, it's about how many people, how many lives are you touching? Can we leave the greed and throw it aside and share
Mm,
things as human beings? Because it's not
mm,
because of resources that we are lacking. We have resources in
mm.
abundance, but
Ah,
because
so much.
humans take advantage of the power that they have, they take advantage
Mm,
of the power that they have, then they misuse it. That's why people are
mm.
dying on the Mediterranean. That's
Ish.
why they are dying in the deserts.
Mm.
That's why there are
And it's
wars. But let us
sad.
all, if we're all human beings and we love each other, you will not kill someone because you know that the heart that is beating, that is pumping blood in that person, is the same heart that is pumping blood in you. So why would you want to put that heart off?
Mm. It's so sad. I think it's time that we need to evolve towards humanity instead
Yeah.
of competition. I have more things than you. I have more beautiful things like you. Then what? So yeah, I'm so grateful to have you, Simon. I'm so honored. I think we'll continue to talk and talk and talk because this conversation is so juicy. I'm enjoying.
It
So
is
I
not
think
ending, so
I'll have you back again on our show. I'm so grateful. Thank you everyone for watching. See you next time on our next episode.
thank you